It was a chance encounter in 1995. Adam Alonso was working at Casa Central, which used the basement of a church near Kelvyn Park. One day, a 15-year-old showed up to the church looking for the pastor. The pastor wasn't there, but Adam was. After he informed the 15-year-old, who was high and considering suicide, that the pastor wasn't, the teenager turned. But Adam heard a voice in his own head call him back, and so he did. And in doing so, 24-year-old Adam Alonso realized his calling. Now, some 27 years later, he serves proudly as the CEO of broader urban involvement and leadership development, better known to all of us in Chicago as Build Inc., an organization that has worked in some of the city's toughest neighborhoods, giving at-risk youth alternatives to the violence. He is a man I genuinely love like a brother, albeit a spoiled, troublemaking, younger brother, only slightly younger, but a brother just the same. Please join me in welcoming the CEO of Build Inc., my friend, my brother, Adam Alonso, in the arena right now.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Adam Alonso, my brother, my friend, one of my first measurable relationships when I moved to Chicago. That's how long we've known each other. I've been here 14 years. And you are one of the most interesting people.
You flatter me.
Are you flattered? Okay, let's see where we are in 22 minutes. Let's just begin at the beginning.
All right, that's from the top.
Let's do it. When and where were you born, sir?
I was born in LaGrange, Illinois.
Okay.
Oh, when?
Basic instructions, sir. We're off to a great start. Let's
Virgo all day, August 30th, 1971.
All right. Tell me about the man and the woman who created you.
So my mother, Judy, is from Tennessee, and my father, Jose, is from Guanajuato in Mexico. So I am the product of a biracial marriage, and I use this.
I see.
Because
We're quoting.
we're quoted because I had never heard of biracial until my third grade teacher pointed it out, and I was like, "What's that?
Interesting.
What do you mean?
We haven't talked about
We
this
haven't
in the
talked
house.
about this in my home. I have no clue why you're asking me this, but so, you know, they raised me. We did church. I did Southern Baptist Church with my mom. I did Catholic Church with my dad. So faith was important to our family, and both from my mom's side and my dad's side, they're hardworking people, and both sets of families, in fact, share sort of the story of they moved to Illinois for better opportunity and for employment. So my dad having traveled the farthest to get to Illinois, and so my mom and my dad met at a laundromat, and the rest is history, I guess. And I'm the youngest of three.
The youngest of three. That young. I've not even asked
The youngest and the best of three.
I think it explains so much. Our viewers are already putting pieces together. The youngest and the best. So I'm going to ask a question. The oldest.
Yep.
The distance between your oldest sibling, male or female?
That's my brother, Anthony. He's 6 years older.
He's 6 years older. And then...
My brother Mark is 4 years older.
And then there is
Me.
you. And if I were to ask your two brothers...
Oh, Lord.
No, if I were to ask them what was it like growing up with the youngest and the best, what would their thoughts be? Would it be similar to my open?
100%.
Fair enough.
Spoiled. Got what he wanted.
Troublemaker.
Pushing
Pushing
the envelope always.
Okay. And what would they say about their brother Adam now as grown-ups?
Still the same. Okay. But, you know, I think they're proud of what I've achieved. And I think, you know, the same mutual respect that I have for my brothers as well. I think all of us, while we did very different things, but all worked hard and did our jobs honestly, and are proud of the fact that whether we're a director or we're in IT or working in the park system. Like all of us did things that were very different, but embodied what our parents taught us and our grandparents, which is you work hard and you do this for yourself and for your employer. So,
Who is Lorena? We're not stopping the tape.
We're not.
Who is Lorena?
Well, as I said, which Lorena? Lorena's my wife, my partner, and she is the one who, I don't want to say wind beneath my wings because that's cheesy as all hell, but no, but she's definitely will always be honest and kicks my butt repeatedly.
You're
kicks
asking to be
my
kicked
ass.
on our
That's right,
show.
right, we can say that, right? I laughed because when I met her, this was right after Lorena Bobbitt was in the news. And so when you asked who is Lorena, in my head, I went back to that time when I met her, and she's like, my name is Lorena. And I laughed out loud and said, I hope not like Bobbitt. And she shot me the look like, that's not even funny. So,
That's not funny, and we're going to marry.
in 3 days. Yeah.
Is that true?
So I told her on the third date, God told me, I am going to marry you.
And
all of her friends were like, run far away. This guy is
Yes,
whacked out.
Yes.
He's hearing voices.
Yes.
He said it's God.
Sure.
On the ththird day, he's telling you you're going to get married. What are you doing?
Didn't see a red flag, Lorena?
No, clearly she loves red flags. Bring them on.
How did she respond to you telling her that?
But you know, it's one of those things like I didn't believe in love at first sight. Like that was, I never would have believed that until I realized like that's really what happened when we saw each other, and there was definitely like, what? And so when I told her, I'm sure in part of her the red flags were going off, but she felt it as deeply as I did. We both did. We felt like there was this weird, intense, like we knew we had to be together, but it didn't make sense for a lot of reasons because she just moved from DC. It was my first job. We just were starting out and young, and like we didn't know each other, and we both had pasts in relationships that were, tough, as I think most
And
people go
again, where
through.
did you meet?
At Casa Central, at work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I know it was you, but let me ask the question, because you did it on day 3. Who said "I love you" first?
Oh, me.
On day 3.
I would have said on day
First
one.
date.
But, right, I mean,
Because you knew that would have been too much.
That would have been a little
All
too
right.
much, but yeah, it was definitely me.
Okay. And we agree, because I've met Lorena. I know Lorena. Lorena is doing yeoman's work.
By putting up with me.
Yes.
Let's start there. Yeah.
No, it's
Right.
not. It wasn't a secret.
Right.
No, I wasn't being precious. I just thought that was obvious.
Right, okay.
She is. What a wonderful lobster for you to have. She is smart and scrappy and fearless. And when I first met her years and years ago, I think we all went to lunch and I went, oh, this makes sense. Oh, this makes sense. And I think part of me has been searching for that. And look, we know it. You all have how many children together?
3.
3. And one of them turned how old yesterday?
25.
And
Our oldest. Yep.
That's your oldest.
Yep.
And your youngest is how old?
17.
And your middle child?
23.
So let's play a game. The 17-year-old, first name?
Sebastian.
Sebastian. High school. 25-year-old?
Noah.
Happy birthday, Noah.
Happy birthday, Noah.
And 23?
Madeline.
Madeline. Oh, Matt. What is life?
Madeline.
Let's zero in on Madeline. How does Madeline deal is the wrong word. How does Madeline, tell me about your relationship with Madeline.
Let me tell you, Noah, they're like the Irish twins, so they were pretty much grew up very close in age.
Okay.
And Noah was always very kind and sensitive. And Madeline came along, and she was a bully. She taught him how to fight. She taught him how to lie. She lied. I was like, this girl's going to really take us for a ride. I said, babe, we got to watch this. And we were both scared of her. She threw tantrums. She threw fits. She was not going to be told what to do. She told us at 3, "You're not the boss of me. You don't tell me what to do."
Okay.
I
Did
was
she
like,
do some of that?
She did. She
Yes,
had all of that. I'm like, who
okay.
taught you this?
Where were you?
My gosh. But
We're scared.
Yeah, we were scared. But the funny part is that she, I don't know, it's probably middle school, a different switch flipped on, and she became very well behaved. Like, always worked hard. Like, there was none of the stuff that we were worried about. We didn't see that, which was very interesting. I think she gave it all to her older brother.
Oh.
And
Noah? Okay.
we started to see some of that. But so Madeline is, I guess, she's a hard worker. She's got 2 jobs, a full-time and a part-time.
Oh, wow.
And, she's got her mother's beauty, thank God. Can you imagine my daughter with this? Poor thing.
I would keep her close to
Right.
my heart and my thoughts.
Yep. But she is tenacious, like her mother, and she's a hard worker.
Like her dad.
Like me. And she cares about everything. She cares about stray animals. She cares about the little mouse that was caught in a trap. You got to save it.
Aw.
She cares about all the kids that she works with. And she works with some really tough kids in CPS. So that's Madeline.
Where did you go to high school?
Argo Community High School.
Okay. Where is that?
Argo. You know where Argo is?
I've only been
I
in Chicago for
apologize.
14 years, and that felt aggressive.
Own it. Argo Community High School is in Summit, Argo, Illinois, where I was raised.
Okay.
And it's on 63rd Street,
Okay.
right off of Harlem.
Oh, I do know where. I just.
If you grew up, I mean, we're the same age, but you didn't grow up here. The Prime and Tender Club, if you knew where that was, then it was right across the street from Argo High School.
Okay. That feels like there's something here that our viewers are going to get, and I'm just going to move past it and move to college. Where did you
Yes.
go to? Wait, did you get out of high school unscathed?
I did.
Okay.
Unscathed.
Okay. Where did you go to college?
University of Chicago.
Okay. What was your major?
Latin American Studies.
And you continued on to grad school.
I took a break and worked, met my wife, had kids, then
Oh,
went back
wow.
to grad school.
Really?
Really.
It's
Look,
interesting.
when I went to UFC, it was, the funny part about that is that, I didn't come from a family that promoted college. My older brother went to U of I, and it was kind of novel.
Right.
And I say this with no disrespect.
Absolutely. I was a
but-
novelty in my family.
Right.
They loved it, but.
and
yeah.
they were grateful, and they
Yeah,
saw my brother
absolutely.
go through. And so when I applied to UFC, it was only because we had gone in high school on a field trip for architecture, and I was like, wow, it feels so smart in here. Like I would really want to study here. So like, well, I'll apply, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll try college. I'll apply here. I applied nowhere else.
Oh, wow.
And my friends were like, are you dumb? Do you know where you applied to? I was like, yeah, University of Chicago. They're
Seems
like,
nice.
That's like one of the best schools. Why do you think you're going to get in? And I was like, you mean you just don't apply and get
Right.
in? But I had no one to guide us through myself. So I didn't really understand what that meant, but I got in and I was like, So when I got out 4 years later, I was like, that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
It was intense. I was like, I'm just going to work.
Yeah.
And college was just like a nice thing to do. It wasn't what it stands for today, right? Like, because we ingrain in our kids from the minute they come out of the womb, you're going to college,
Yes.
right? All 3 of mine can tell you that. But back then it wasn't. So when I got out, I was like, I'm just going to work. Like I did that. Now I'm going to work. And then when I was in work, everyone's like, well, you can't move on up if you don't go and get your master's degree. I was like, I have to go back to school.
Right, you got to do this again?
Yeah.
Dang.
They're like, well, it's only 2 years. And I'm like, okay, I can imagine like full time. And I'm like, I have kids. I have a mortgage.
Yes.
What do you mean go full time? I can't go anywhere. So I did it part time at Loyola and finished in 3 years. So
I think that's brilliant. You were, I sometimes ask folks where you were a good student, and I hear different answers. And ultimately, I have said to folks, I come from Chicago State Foundation, and you and I have talked for years. And I've had students say to me, I got an E or I got a C. And I'm like, let me give you some advice. Not once And I mean it not once since I snatched that degree from U of M, snatched it out of their hands, did someone say to me, hey, what was your GPA?
Not once.
So not once.
Isn't
the goal
that weird?
is to get
out.
Get out.
That paper.
Get that paper. That's it. So really changing that framework. But here's the thing. Here's what's brilliant. Because as a grad student who was an adult, already managing a family, a marriage, adulting,
Right.
you were at Loyola, but you also founded. What did you found? What was the organization that you founded?
Oh, God? Or, no, sorry. No, I want you to see it. In a straight face.
Okay. Corazon Community Services.
Close enough. Yep.
Now but here, okay, in spite of your, again, younger, childlike brother, and sometimes I look at what you've accomplished, and I'm so proud. And
thanks, big brother.
It gives me hope that anyone can make it.
You know what I'm saying?
Anyone. So let me continue
They gave me
on.
2 degrees.
Yes, and this little organization that you started while in grad school is one of the leading organizations in Cicero, which is not too far from my South Loop neighborhood right now. And then after that, you went on to become the Director of Youth Services at Casa Central and Illinois Action for Children. And then this is where our paths crossed. You became the Director of Community Engagement for United Way of Metropolitan Chicago. From there, you went on to be the director of the state of Illinois' Welcoming Center for Immigrants and Refugees. There are themes going all the way back to your parents. And for the one or two of these in the arenas that you actually deigned to watch before coming on, you will notice that there are themes as well. No reason, it's rhetorical. But one of the biggest of the many incredible things happened in March of 2015. You became the Chief Executive Officer of Build. And in the 8 years since, I just want to run off a few things, because this is as kind as I'm going to be to you for the rest of this year. I know.
Take it in.
Take it in. You literally, I'd worked with this organization. I knew you when I was at Youth Guidance and then Urban League specifically.
Right.
Worked with that organization, great partners in the community. But what has happened between March of 2015 and just a few weeks ago is worthy of note. Let's be very clear. You really did affect exponential expansion of services for youth that includes things that we are learning every day are so important, like mental health, mental wellness care, in-school prevention, counseling, comprehensive services for victims of violence. You have more than tripled the budget, and you have had the unmitigated audacity to successfully lead a $28 million capital campaign that resulted in that new 57,000 square foot youth and community hub in South Austin that I saw everyone who is a part of community, a part of social justice. Thank God it was 57,000 square feet, because they were all there for your ribbon cutting.
Right. Not you, but all of them. Shots fired.
Incoming, headed coming.
No.
Yo, it's true. It's true, and I will make a. So you know what we're going to do? So just tell me about the new center that I'm coming to see this weekend. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, what can I tell you?
Tell me, did you ever imagine that this would be something you do? How does that feel?
Yeah, no, I mean, I would never, I'm not a planner, drives my wife crazy. I don't plot things out ahead. It's been, thankfully, and I do say by the grace of God, that I am where I'm at. The things that were instilled in us early on about working hard, and, your word is the only thing you can protect, so honor it, right? And integrity, and maybe it was out of fear of like condemnation from God if you aren't your best self. But if I look back over my family's life and my brother's, like everyone worked hard and we cared, and we may not have been perfect by no means, but that feels like the thing that you need to have. I think because I've been young and rambunctious and basically doing whatever the hell I thought made sense to me as a child. My wife might say you still. But in some ways that I think as an adult and channeling that professionally means I can dream and do things, but it will be hard work. And I'm not afraid to do the work. So I mean, I'm proud of what myself, but really the collective we have built, because it really is everyone. I mean, I really do believe this is that, yes, I'm at the head of the organization and I may provide vision and sort of where we're going direction, but at the end of the day, my job is just different than the person at the front line working every day with kids in an after-school program, right? My job is different than the person on the street corner trying to save young people. And so when we collectively are working hard together, we all move as one. My job is just different. And so I truly believe that. And I say that with humility, not to like blow smoke up or out anyone's, you know what, but I really believe that. And I think when we all are doing our jobs and we're doing what we're supposed to, that's young people win, they succeed, families, communities. So to me, this is an accomplishment of everyone working hard together. And yes, there were certain things that I did that were very specific to move this along. But at the end of the day, it's what I stressed myself out. How are you going to raise all this money? You've never done it before. You think you can do it, but who? Like how? Right? And so I had to talk myself off the ledge a few times. But we did it. This is just a tool. The building is a mere tool. In the same way that you and I use a computer for work, whatever else we may need to do our jobs, the building is merely a tool. And when I shifted that in my mind, that this is not the be-all, end-all, raising the money for this, it was like, I'm raising money for a tool. Be scared about the enormity of the work that happens once the tool is up. That's the real work. Bricks and mortar, getting it built, getting it open, yes, that's a monumental feat in and of its own right, but it's not the work.
It's the marriage versus the wedding.
Yes.
I'm going to stop you there, and I'm going to have some thoughts on the other side, because I always do, about what you just said. But this part of our conversation has come to a peaceful close.
Not bad.
It was good.
It
Felt
was
good.
very good.
We got one more segment, so we can do it.
Okay.
After this, let me first of all thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Look, you both make me laugh, but you are talented. You have been one of the most fearless people I've known. And you have always been that, and it's the consistency of you. It's the consistency for me. We're going to go to a break, Chicago, but when we come back, Adam and I are going to partake in our final segment called 3 for the Road. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Nice. But you weren't there. You know, like I didn't watch all your episodes.
You watched? I didn't want to tell everybody just one, barely, and then judged it.
I didn't judge it.
For as long as America has existed, the inequitable treatment Black Americans experience due to the color or shade of their skin has persisted. On Thursday, March 30th at 7 p.m., CAN TV's special report, The Marginalized Working While Black, takes a deep dive into America's original sin, race and the value, or lack thereof, attached to it. A difficult discussion, but one well worth having together. Tune in Thursday, March 30th.
A-Square, A2, Adam Alonso, husband of Lorena, father of Nora, Madeline, Sebastian.
Yep.
Friend of mine. We are going to partake in our final segment called 3 for the Road.
Okay.
Here's how it works. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. You're going to give me 3 answers.
Got it.
Okay. You sure? Mm-hmm. All right, let's begin.
But no questions back.
3 for the road.
3 for the road.
If question one One of three. If you could have dinner with any person.
Ooh, I was hoping you'd ask me this. I was gonna be mad if you did it.
Okay, well let me ask
sorry.
it. Let's
Ask
do it.
it.
Okay.
You know, I watched your episodes. I know what this question is.
If you could have dinner with any person, living or dead, who would you choose?
It would
and
be
why?
my dad.
Oh.
Because he died, he saw me graduate high school and then died 3 days later. So I was 17. And so I would, if I could go back, I would definitely do dinner with him because he never saw me get married, have kids, be a man.
Yeah.
I never got to see him be a grandfather. You know, all the things you miss from a parent when they're not there with you. And you don't think about it. I was 17, I didn't think too much of it, but yes. And I was going to be mad if you didn't ask me that because I heard that and I was like my dad, 100% all day.
Well, I'm glad your dad is here. I feel like, and it's the most interesting thing, the older I get, the more I know I'm meeting someone's forebears through them. Because you and I are around the same age, and I see more and more every day, not just visually, but my late father, I am his legacy. And, you know, so living or dead, my mom called me recently and said to me, hey, Mom, because she watches online, she tells me, but she said to me, I have never been so proud to call you mine. And when a parent tells you that.
Oh, that's
But
big.
I also know that my father, my late father, who taught me my love of words, that I am his walking legacy as well. So your father, if this is what he created, I like him just fine. Great start. Let's
Thank
go with
you.
question
Okay,
two.
question two.
What would you like question two to be?
Dealer's choice.
Oh, how wonderful. Oh, now we're, okay, how wonderful. So back to the host?
Back to the
Okay, how
host.
wonderful.
Yes.
Do you have any regrets?
I regret June 14th, 1989, when my dad died. I didn't, 3 days before then, I should say, because we were actually getting ready to move to Michigan because my dad worked for General Motors, and they moved the plant. They moved everyone from here, so we were waiting for me to graduate. We were all going to move over. I would have, you know, it's all things, what would you have said?
Yeah.
What would you have done? So I regret that I didn't spend enough time, but I'm happy to know that while he was here, and then as he drove back, 'cause he passed away in Michigan, was that it was the one time he came back and there wasn't fighting. Neither him and my mom, neither me and my brother. Like, it was just like calm and peaceful, like the way you want. And then having kids now, if I were my dad, I would have been like, I'm out of here. I would have left, you know, because it's tough.
Yes.
You work all day, and
Yes.
he worked factory work, and then
Yes.
driving to be home, and then your
Yeah.
family's like a hot mess. So, that's the only thing I regret, not having spent a little more time talking with him. But it was all peaceful and good, so I felt good. But that's my only real regret that I can think of.
Final question. Great answer, by the way. One piece of advice present day Adam would have given his 21-year-old self.
Don't worry about taking yourself seriously. I think I cared a lot. You know, you're 20s, right?
Yes.
You're trying to figure it out, so you got to take yourself a little seriously. And I probably would try to do that a little bit less.
With that, Adam, you know we're going to continue to do things together, talk. I am so proud of what you're doing over there at
Thank
Build.
you.
Thank you. We are going to continue partnering. We're going to be doing some work together. We want to be a part of what you're
Great.
creating over there. Chicago and beyond, thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me leave you with a final thought for the road, courtesy of Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We cannot always build a future for our youth, but we can build our youth for the future. Until next time, take good care of you and each other. Good night. Get out. Get off the set. I mean, thank you for coming. The mic may be still on. Thank you, Adam, for coming.